Well, I was just looking at the footage that we took this last weekend, just starting a little intro there. And, you know, the last year and a half or so, I really haven't taken the camera out with me when we're doing stuff around the place. I always figure nobody wants to watch what the heck we're doing around here. It's just, to us, it's just normal stuff. But then I look back at some of the comments from when I did some of those videos before, and I really liked the enthusiasm of some of the folks that watched those videos and made comments on them. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to break out the GoPro. And one of the best things I ever did with this little GoPro was buy a magnet mount. This is a RAM mount magnet. I can just set it on the tractor. I can set it on fence post. Really handy. Don't have to fuss around with a tripod. So it really makes doing this kind of thing really easy. So I decided to go ahead and do it this last weekend and show you a little bit about what we've had going on around the place. And we're kind of backlogged right now. The weather on the weekends has just not really worked out very well for us this spring. Hasn't been conducive to getting any productive work done around the place. So we decided this last weekend to try and get a bunch of stuff done outside while the weather was good. And so I'm just taking you along on that ride. I didn't do any narration while we were out doing it. So I'll provide a little narration here in post as I'm editing the video, and just to let you know, what some of these goofy things are we're doing. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy. And I kind of wanted to give you an update about what's going on around the place. So we've got a ton of projects that have been eating up a lot of my time. Work eats up a tremendous amount of my time. But projects around here that I'm trying to get done so we can go out and explore some mines. I felt like I needed to get those done this spring. So the last few weekends when it's been kind of decent, that's what we've been doing. But hope you enjoy. Let's jump into it. So I'm here editing, and I thought I'd better give some context to what's going on here. We've got some bottle calves that some good friends of ours gave to the kids, and they're for 4-H projects next year, but obviously you got to raise them to get them up to the right size. But it made us rethink our fencing situation. In the past we've had our horses, and we've leased the land out for other people to run their steers or their cattle on, and we didn't really, our horses stay in the fence, and if their steers got out, they just go into their pasture anyway. So it wasn't a huge deal. But having our own steer and a small heifer there, it really made us think about it. Once we released those out into our pasture, it would just be a nightmare if they got through the fence and mixed in with their cattle. I could just see the big rodeo happening. I'm not a cowboy. So that's the reason we're fixing the fence. And these fence stays we're going to be putting on really help stabilize those barbed wires so that especially calves and young steers, they spread those things apart and just stretch the wire all out, and we'll get through there. But if you put some fence stays on there, usually it helps the problem. It doesn't always solve it, but it helps it at least. every year. Piece of crap. Okay, so a little backstory on this sprayer. If you've seen a video from 2 or 3 years ago, I had nothing good to say about this sprayer then. I still don't have anything good to say about this sprayer. This was the first year I pulled it off the shelf from being winterized and not had any problems with the spray bar on the back. Usually the O-rings are bad and spraying water everywhere, or I can't get the pump primed or something. There's always some issue with this sprayer. It is the biggest piece of junk I have ever owned. So I thought I was doing great. When the spray bar was working, I thought, great, this is going to be a good year. It's not going to break. Right after I mixed the Roundup in the water, I went back to grab another jug. I think it was 2,4-D I was going to mix in there with it. It kills things off just a little bit quicker. And on my way walking back, that stinking hose popped off and just showered the four-wheeler, showered my phone, and of course the kill switch or the shut-off switch for the tank, the sprayer, is up on the handlebars of the four-wheeler, so I had to take a shower myself to get the thing turned off. So I was not real happy with the sprayer again. I was pretty elated that it hadn't given me any problems up to that point. Now if you look really close, you'll notice that the hose did not have a hose clamp down low on it, and the reason being is in the past, every time there's been a hose clamp on that thing, it leaks. No matter what I've done, even from the factory, the thing would leak water with a hose clamp on it. So I moved the hose clamp up a little higher, put some silicone in there, and put some zip ties on there really tight. And it's held pretty good for the last year and a half. It hasn't leaked at that point. But for whatever reason, it decided it was coming off of there right when I was mixing chemicals. Pretty awesome. Okay, so this thing I'm picking up, I forgot I even had this thing till this spring. The kids were dragging it around using it as a harrow. I've got a little harrow for my four-wheeler, and they were harrowing their horse field this spring. And I seen them out there dragging this thing around with a chain. I'm like, what the heck are you guys dragging around out there? And they're like, well, isn't this a harrow? I'm like, no. And then I got to looking at it and realized what it was. This is from, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. I made this for my little Yanmar tractor. And what it is, it's to rip brush up and saplings and whatnot. I seen this online. It was available through, I think it was Tractor Supply or somebody was selling these things. Well, we didn't have a Tractor Supply close at the time. They wouldn't ship it. So I just decided to build this myself. It's made out of like, I think it's about 1/2-inch steel. And I think it would have worked okay, but my little Yanmar, I think it was a 2210D, it just didn't have enough power to do anything with it. So I forgot I even made it. I used it a little bit. When I could get, if the ground was just right, I could get it to work. But for the most part, the Yanmar would just stop. So I got this thing and decided, well, I wonder if it'll fit on my current tractor. And I had to do a little modification, as you'll see. But I did get it to fit on the bucket just fine. And the reason I like using this setup is, you know, you can go through and to clear a fence line out is what I'm essentially doing, because I need to replace a section of fence, and the sagebrush is so tall in there. There's spots that, you know, it's taller than me, over 6 foot tall. And I was in there trying to cut wire to roll it up to get it out of the way so I could put a new fence through there. And it was just being a big hassle. I was just going to cut the wire out of the way and then take the tractor through and clean it out where the fence is actually going to go. But I needed some space to work before I got to that point so I could get in there and get that wire out. What I like about this is you can pile up all that brush, and it works really good on bigger sagebrush. It doesn't work so good on little sagebrush, but the stuff, you know, that's a couple inches in diameter and up. I mean, some of that stuff I uprooted was, you know, no kidding, probably 8 to 10 inch diameter base on some of that sagebrush. And that thing will hook onto it and just rip it up out of there. And you can put it in piles without piling up a bunch of dirt with it. So in the fall, I can go through and burn it. If you've ever piled up a bunch of sagebrush with dirt mixed in, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just makes a big mess. It's hard to burn. So this thing works really great for that. It leaves most of the topsoil behind and just rips up most of the root system and the bush itself, brush, and you can pile it up, and does a pretty good job. Like I said, it doesn't do real great with small sagebrush, but I just need the majority of the big stuff out of the way so I can get the side-by-side up there and be able to work. So that's what we're doing here. sure it goes down into it, not pulling sideways. Okay, there's 3 things here coming behind you. There's this rope, this black cable, which is you're going to have to make sure it comes off of this behind you. Comes off of the spool, okay? Is it pulling, bud?
Keep going.
Is it moving? Oh boy.
What exactly are you doing?
Winching.
I'll stand back.
Is it moving?
No.
Moving now?
Yeah.
Hey, I need to take a new bite. Ready? Nope. Got a long ways to go. You having problems?
No.
Okay. We got to be real close. Real close. Rope. Go feed it. I think I can finish pulling it by hand, bud. Maybe not. I think we're there, buddy. I got enough. Well, I knew that was going to be a pretty tough pull through that conduit. We've got quite a bit going through that little 3-inch conduit. And I was pretty sure the last time we pulled through there, I always try and leave a pull rope in there. The last time we pulled, that pull rope, I think, got wound around the hard lines a couple times going through there. So I knew it was going to be a little bit of a tough pull. I wasn't really sure we were going to be able to pull it off. And what we were doing is I needed a UV resistant Cat 5 cable. We've got a project that I'll take you along that's going to involve something out on that tower. And I needed a power cable going out there. I already had a Cat 5 cable running through there. I didn't actually know it until after we got the pull done. There was a Cat 5 cable already pulled through there. I did not remember pulling a Cat 5 cable through there. I only remember pulling some old Cat 3 cable that I use for control lines. But there was one there, but it's not UV protected. It's going to go up the tower, so I needed a UV protected cable anyway. So that's why we were pulling that through there. And last time I pulled, I forgot to put the steel wool back in the far end, and mice got up in that conduit. In fact, they made it clear over here to the box next to my shack. I'd opened that up several months ago and found mice in there. Well, remnants, you could tell they'd been in there, you know, fuzz and stuff, trying to make nests and stuff. So they got a hold of that rope a little bit and chewed on it. And thankfully, that stayed in one piece until we got it up out of the conduit. How it stayed in one piece, I don't know, but it did. I'm really thankful that it did. When it got up into the pulleys, when it finally let go. And props to that boy. Anytime there's a man project, he's out there helping me. I don't care what the project is, he'll be out there trying to lend a hand. Even if it's above his pay grade, he wants to learn about it. And so props to that guy. He's always out there helping me do stuff. And he did a great job helping me feed that cable into that conduit. So made the project go a lot faster having somebody on the other end. I've done similar pulls like that with just me, and you get some tension on the rope, you gotta go feed it in a little bit, it'll move a foot or two, and you gotta run back, put more tension on the rope. It's just a huge pain. So really enjoy having him out there helping me with these projects. Both of them are super helpful kids. The girl, she helps her mom more than obviously me. A lot of the projects she likes, what her mom's doing. And he's always out. Anytime we've got a project, he's out there helping me. So with that, I think that about wraps it up. I just wanted to take you along for the ride this last weekend and show you what we did. We had other projects going on. We had some irrigation stuff that I didn't take the camera out for. But you got to get the idea what we have going on around here, and no, the fencing project's not done. We got quite a bit done, and on video, I know it makes it look like those projects go by pretty quick. But even like clearing the brush out, that was probably a 3-hour project trying to get all that brush away from the fence, and some of that sagebrush was pretty tough to get out, even with the tractor that I've got now. And I know somebody's going to ask about the Branson tractor. I really have no major complaints about the tractor. I've had a couple little hiccups with it, but overall, really no major complaints. But I did hear that they're discontinuing the Branson line, maybe. That's kind of what I heard. And TYM, I think is the name of the company, may have bought them out, or I don't know all the details, but I'm pretty happy with that tractor. There's a couple things I would change about it if I was designing it, but overall, it's been a great little tractor. Okay, that about wraps it up, and I guess we'll just see you guys on the next video.